Last lesson, we looked at the opening of Act 1, Scene 4, and now we're going to finish looking at the scene. Remember that the witches concocted an horrific potion. He commanded the witches to answer his questions about his own future, and in response, the witches now summon a series of apparitions. An apparition is a ghost. Remember, we've already had a series of apparitions in the play. The ghostly dagger that led Macbeth to murder Duncan, and indeed the ghost of Banquo that appeared at the banquet. Now Macbeth sees more visions. They deliver three more prophecies that speak of Macbeth's future. Remember, the first three led him to murder the king. Now these further prophecies will lead him into further evil and madness. Remember, after the witches first spoke to Macbeth and Banquo, Banquo warned Macbeth that sometimes the instruments of darkness tell us honest truths to win us in deepest consequence. Meaning that the forces of evil can tell us small things that are true to make us do significantly more evil things. Remember what the witches told Banquo led to his own murder. The witches use equivocation, and this is a key word, okay, and the spelling is on Classroom. It means to use ambiguous and unclear language to shield the truth. This is what happens in this scene. The prophecies that Macbeth receives are equivocation. They're ambiguous, the meaning is not clear. They lead him to commit further horrific acts of violent depravity, and they also lead him to believe that he is invincible and untouchable by man. Look at page 47 in your text. Look at line 70. Beware Macduff. Now, this prophecy is truthful. It is Macduff who kills Macbeth at the end of the play. This warning leads Macbeth to slaughter Macduff's entire family, whilst Macduff is in England conspiring against Macbeth. Look at line 78. Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth. This prophecy commands Macbeth to fear no man, as nobody born from a woman can harm him. Now, on the surface, that seems clear. After all of us are born from a woman. But this is how the witches use equivocation. The language is surprisingly ambiguous. The plot twist at the end of the play comes when we discover that Macduff was ripped from his mother's womb. Remember, this is the time before medical procedures such as caesarean births. So a child being ripped from the womb would only take place if a woman had died in childbirth, common enough at the time. So technically, Macduff was not born in a conventional sense, but we can see how the language is equivocal, how it's ambiguous. Look at line 90. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until to great Burnham Wood, to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him. In this prophecy, Macbeth is told that he will not be defeated until Burnham Forest walks to his castle gates. Again, this feeds into Macbeth's feelings of invincibility. How can trees walk? As Macbeth says on line 94, who can impress the forest? Bid the tree unfix his earthbound root. Once again, this is clear equivocation, deliberately ambiguous. In the final stages of the play, we see the army advancing on Macbeth's castle. They chop down the forest of Burnham, and they use it as camouflage that they transport them closer to the castle without being spotted. Both of these prophecies initially seem to be absolutely definite, yet they're actually easily overridden. The equivocation makes Macbeth feel invincible, and it feeds his increasing madness. Finally, Macbeth asks about Banquo's son becoming king. Remember, it is this prophecy given to Banquo in the first meeting that caused him to be murdered. The witches deliberately amplify Macbeth's paranoia here. Look at lines 110 to 122. Here, they reveal to Macbeth a line of kings descended from Banquo, clearly to torture Macbeth's already paranoid and scorpion-ridden mind. This prophecy is untrue. It doesn't come true. just as it was the first time they delivered it at their first meeting. We can see how the witches deliberately mix truth and lies. As they say in the first scene, fair is foul and foul is fair. The scene ends with some really dramatic timing. Remember the first time the witches prophesied that Macbeth would be king? We see the news of his promotion immediately after. Here, something similar happens. Look at line 140. We learn that Macduff has fled to England, immediately feeding into Macbeth's deepest fears. The confirmation that Macbeth has now become truly evil and beyond redemption is delivered when he says on line 145 that the firstlings of his heart shall be the firstlings of his hand. Meaning, he won't think about the moral consequences of any actions, but will just act. Think about how different this is to his obsessive worrying about the killing of Duncan. This newfound ruthlessness is confirmed when he tells us on line 149 that he will raid Macduff's castle and murder his entire family, including his young children. Remember that Macduff is already in England, so this is now the senseless and evil slaughter of innocent babies. For the rest of this lesson, you need to refer to the overview PowerPoint and add any annotations, and then complete the assignment shared with you, and I will see you tomorrow.